Good morning, Math 10Cs. I've gotten a couple of emails that some of you are a little bit confused on the substitution method, and can I just go through a couple of examples? So what I've done is I've uploaded this worksheet for you, and if we were in class, this is the worksheet that I would have given. And the one thing I like about this worksheet is at the very end of the worksheet, all your solutions are there. I'm going to solve with you right now 4 of these questions. And if you can do this worksheet, I guarantee you will be able to do the systems solving by substitution on the exam, okay? It's sometimes nice to hear a different teacher and how they will explain it, because my method might be slightly different than maybe Miss McGinnis's method. Okay, so with substitution, I like writing the 2 equations next to each other. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write this bottom equation just next to my first equation. With elimination, we want them one on top of each other, but with substitution, like side by side. So negative 2x minus 3y is equal to negative 7. Okay. Now, the second thing with substitution, within your 2 systems, one of the systems, we need to have one of the variables isolated or solved for. So for example, if I look at these 2 systems, it's this system right here, y is already solved for. I don't have to do any moves. I don't have to manipulate anything. They've already solved for y, okay? So they tell me that y is equal to 6x minus 11. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to box that in. That's what y is equal to. I'm going to substitute that into the second system. We find y in the second system. I'm going to take this y out, and I'm going to plug in 6x minus 11. So in my second system, I have negative 2x minus 3. Then I've got my y. Y is 6x minus 11. And that is equal to negative 7. So once you plug something from one system into the other, now I just deal with this, okay? So you always get rid of your brackets next. So let's distribute in that negative 3. And I'll have negative 2x. Negative 3 times 6 is negative 18x. Negative 3 times negative 11 is positive 33. And that's equal to negative 7. Let's join our like terms together. Like terms on the left-hand side were the x's. Negative 2 minus 18 gives me negative 20x. Then I had plus 33 is equal to negative 7. Let's get rid of that 33 by subtracting it from both sides. And then what will I have? Negative 20x is equal, what would that be, negative 40? Isolate your x. We got to get rid of that negative 20 by dividing both sides by negative 20. And x is equal negative 20, or sorry, negative 40 divided by negative 20 is 2. So once you have one of your letters, one of my variables is solved for, x is solved for, I then need to go back up. If x is 2, what does y equal? I need to plug this into one of the 2 systems and solve for y. And you guys, the easiest system to plug this into is this guy right here, because I've already have y isolated, right? So I simply need to plug in the number 2 there. So y is equal to 6 times 2 minus 11. And honestly, let's do that on our calculator. 6 times 2, even though like that's going to be an easy number, but let's just, oh, my calculator's not working. 6 times 2 is 12. 12 minus 11 is 1. Y is equal to 1. I'll tell you right now that on your test, it is going to say, give your answer as an ordered pair. So remember that an ordered pair is always x comma y. So if this was a test, you would be saying 2 comma 1. You would box that in. So let's just quickly check my worksheet, 2 comma 1. So number 1 is 2 comma 1. So we did that correctly. Now, the last thing I want to tell you, so this is how I'm going to ask for your answer on your worksheet, answer as an ordered pair. You then need to verify. So when you verify that x is 2 and y is 1, where you guys will always verify is in the original equation, okay? So when we verify, and this is where I'm going to get some of you on marks. I know this already. What you have to do is you have to plug in a 2 and a 1 in this system and in this system. You have to plug it into both systems. My answer has to work in both systems. And left-hand side has to equal right-hand side. So I'll show you what I mean. X is 2, y is 1. So y is 1 and x is 2. So let's see. 1 is equal to 6 times 2 minus 11. 1 is equal to 12 minus 11. 1 is equal to 1. It verifies if left-hand side equals right-hand side. So these two numbers are equal, put a check mark, and it verifies. So I could say left-hand side equals right-hand side. And you write that for me on your test. Then we're going to go over here, okay? Negative 2 times x. So I'll do this in a different color. Negative 2, x was 2, minus 3. Y we got was 1. Remember y was 1? And I'm going to check, does that equal negative 7? So negative 4 minus 3, does that equal negative 7? Negative 4 minus 3 is negative 7. And look at that. It verifies. Left-hand side equals right-hand side. My solution is correct. And something interesting about this test, there's no explaining or anything like that, because if you guys do your verification for every single question, if your left-hand side equals right-hand side, you will know before you even submit your test if you're getting it right or wrong. Okay? So let's do this next one. I won't do the verification, but you'll need to do the verification on your test, okay? So I'm going to write this bottom system next to it. So I'm going to write it up here. Y is equal to x minus 1. Okay, I'll do that. Then I'm going to get rid of that. Okay, so I look at my two systems. I need to solve for one of the variables in one of the systems. Oh, look at this. There it is. Y is solved for. Actually, when we finish this question, I'm going to show you what it's going to look like on your test. So what your one of your systems will be. I'll tell you right now. Okay, so they told me that y is equal to this. So I'm going to go to this system and look at that. There's y. Y goes out, and x minus 1 is going to go in. Okay? So we're dealing with this system now. 2x minus 3, y is x minus 1, is equal to negative 1. Distribute, get rid of your bracket. 2x minus 3x plus 3 is equal to negative 1. Like terms, 2x minus 3x minus 1x plus 3 is equal to negative 1. Subtract 3 from both sides. Negative 1 is equal to negative 4. No, negative 1x, sorry, is equal to negative 4 when I get rid of that 3. Divide both sides by negative 1. And I get x is equal to 4. That's what my x is. Go back up. You got to plug that in either here or here. It really doesn't matter which one. You'd actually get the exact same y value no matter which system you chose. But look at this. I'm going to pick this one. I want to know what y equals, right? So I'm going to plug in 4 here. Y is equal to x, which I just calculated to be 4, minus 1. Y is equal to 3. Done. She says she wants her answer. Mrs. King wants her answer as an ordered pair. Okay, let's give it to her as an ordered pair. 4, comma 3, box, box, box. The only other thing I would have to do is I would very neatly on my piece of paper take that 4 and that 3, and I would plug it in this side, plug in the 3 here and the 4 there, make sure left-hand side equals right-hand side, and into this system. If you don't plug it in into both systems, you will not get your marks for verifying. And I think I give 2 marks for verifying. So if you only plug it into one system, you're only going to get 1 out of 2. Okay. Your test, though, is going to look more something like this, where one of this, like these two are easy because they had already isolated y for us, right? But your test is going to look like one of these 2 questions, and nothing's isolated. So what would you do if you saw this? What you would do is I would look at this system and I would say, I can't solve for x or y in like one move here, right? Oh, look at this y. It's by itself. I could solve for y in one move. Basically, if I want that y by itself, how do I isolate that y? I'm going to get rid of that negative 5x. I need to add 5x. And I need to add 5x. And look at that. I just isolated for y. Y is equal to, I'm going to write this first. I always like sort of write it in the form of x plus b. So I'm going to write the 5x first, minus 2. That I just solved for y. So from here, what would I do? I would take what y is equal to, and where does it go? It goes into always the other system. You solve for one of the letters in one of the systems. In this case, I solved the letter y in the first system. I have to plug that into the second system. So negative 3x plus 6, y comes out, and 5x minus 2 goes in, and that's equal to negative 12. So let's quickly solve this. Negative 3x plus 30x minus 2 equals negative 12. Like terms together, negative 3 plus 30 is 27. And I'm going to add the 2. I'm just going to do this for the last. So negative 27x is equal to negative 10. And I feel like I made a mistake because that would give me a fraction, and I don't think I have a fraction. What question is this? 9. Okay, I'm going to pause this for a second, see if I could find my mistake. Sorry about that, everyone. I definitely found my mistake. Here was my mistake. 6 times negative 2 should be 12, negative 12. So I am missing, so I've got to fix that. So 6 times 5x is 30x, and 6 times negative 2 is negative 12. Okay, so let's see if we could fix this. Negative 3 plus 30 is negative 27x. And then now I'm going to add 12 both sides. So 27x, negative 12 plus 12 is equal to 0. And then we've got to get x by itself. So divide both sides by 27. And I'm getting x is equal to 0. So now if x is 0, I have to go back up. I'm going to plug that into this system here because I've isolated for y. So y is equal to 5 times 0 minus 2. Anything times 0 is 0. So y is equal to negative 2. And my answer, written as an ordered pair, would be 0, comma negative 2. And And let's just quickly have a look and see if that's right. 0, -2. Yes. So I think that's probably enough practice. I'll just sort of quickly show you for this one. If you were solving for this question, if that was your question on your test, this is the guy that I would isolate. I would isolate y in here by adding 5x to both sides, right? So you should get y is equal to 5x minus 3. And then that would be what y is equal to, and you would plug it into there. Okay, so when you do 10, that's what I want you to do for 10. Let's quickly look at 14, because I want you to solve 14. So if you were looking at these two systems, again, they really want y isolated. That's the only one that makes sense, right? Isolate y by adding 5x to each side. And what would you get? You would get y is equal to 5x plus 13. And you would add this, once you solve for y, into the other system. If you had this question on your test, you could solve for x or you could solve for y. The choice is yours. You solve for y, and you would get x plus 3. That's what y is equal to. And that would always go into the other system. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. Send me any emails if you need any additional help or practice.